So my name is Anthony Manyore. I'm 34 years old. I'm married. My wife is somewhere there. I'm a dog dad. I have 2 dogs. Yeah, I recently left employment. Part of that journey was enabled by ERPNext, and I'll tell you why. So Shira Agrovet Supplies Limited. So we're a distributor and certified stockist of agro inputs. So your fertilizers, your seeds, your agrochemicals, vet products, public health. And what we do is, for us, we drive last mile distribution to ensure access of quality, assured and affordable products, both to the farmers, to the home users, and generally to the public. So we believe that we are a very important aspect to the Kenya's agricultural value chain. So, so we have partnership distribution. So for some of them within the Nairobi area, we have single distribution, while for some other areas we have shared distribution within Nairobi. So we work with about 100 plus suppliers. Unlike my colleague from Unilever, who, you know, Unilever is big. So, and obviously the FMCG is different from your agro in terms of how products move. So we work basically with all and every suppliers. We have key suppliers that we do have distribution contracts with, the likes of Bayer, Syngenta, Osho, Amira, and East Africa Seeds. We deal with about 9,000 plus SKUs. So if there's a tomato, there's like 50 companies that are doing tomatoes from 1 kg all the way to 2.5 grams. So our SKU listing is quite huge. We deal with about 400 plus customers, about 10,000 walk-ins, and that's across our 4 branches. So we have Nairobi, which is the headquarters, and then we have retailing branches in Narok. We have retailing branches in Lari, which is in Kerasha, Kama in Kiambu County, and then recently we are in Kamulu, which is across Kangundo, covering the eastern part of the country. Yeah, so just a bit of a story. So Shira Agrovet was started up in 1997 as a mom and pops. Funny enough, and I got to know this about 2 years ago. It was actually started in a converted toilet. So there was no space. And then there was that 1.5 by 3 meter toilet that was closed, cemented, and that's where mom and dad started the business. So in 2007, scaled up to about 4 employees. In 2010, we opened up a second branch that is in Narok with 8 employees. In 2012, opened up a third branch, grew an employee number to 9, to where we are here today. 4 branches, 20 employees. We say that we impact over 60 plus lives, indirect impact to the community in terms of the jobs and you know, the drivers, the guys who pack, the guys who assist in terms of offloading fertilizers and all that. So, and as I said, we believe that we are very important to Kenya's agricultural value chain. So it's a journey that has taken 27 years. So I'll tell what happened in terms of what was the turning point for us. So that's our matriarch, founding mother. Our dad left us last year, but so in June 7th, 2019, Alice, who's our matriarch, she got a brain aneurysm. Yeah, so, and the business, she was the business. The business was her and she was the business. So basically all supplier contracts, all supplier negotiations, all supplier invoices, anything to do with suppliers, it's all in her head. Customers, customer debts, as much as she had a book where she would write, this person took this thing, paid this amount, left with this amount. So she had basically a physical tally, not your tally, yeah? So at that point, I was working. I'm a marketer. I'm a chartered marketer, 13 years in the field, just creating connections between brands and consumers. So that's professionally who I am. So where I was at that point, when we went to hospital and we were told she needed to have a surgery and she'll be out for a month, I remember my dad just looking at me and asking, "Tutafanya nini? What will you do?" Because she basically ran everything of the business, and that includes even the branches. So when I joined the company, because now at this point, mom is in hospital, at least I had a good employer, so they allowed me a bit of time to go and just sort of manage things. But what I found, it was complete chaos. Decision paralysis in terms of what needs to happen next, inefficient operations, disorganized workflows. There was no direction in terms of this needs to happen after this. Non-accountability. No one was accountable for anything. If anything got lost in that shop, nobody will come up and say, it will be just, there was no accountability at all. Financial disarray in terms of you don't know what the finance is telling you, you don't know where the money is going, you don't know where the money is going to take you, you don't know where the money is. Basically, the finances were just in disarray. Inventory management was huge in terms of pilferage, in terms of expiry management. As I said, pilferage, it was at the highest peak. I think from 2019, when we started now going into the business, the number of people that we've had to let go because of pilferage, either from directly stealing cash, selling their own, the stock as their own, at the end of the day, putting stocks and, I think anyone in distribution knows about this. Customer and also supplier management was hell. Supply chain issues in terms of managing the process from getting the stock from the supplier to a warehouse, and then now from the warehouse to the different customers. I mentioned we have about 400 plus customers. So the supply chain issues were also quite in a mess. Irresponsibility. So at that point, I knew there's something that had to be done. So in 2019, we started looking at the structure. So we developed a structure, and then we said, okay, look here, we need to find a system that will work with us. So it's been quite a journey, and I think for anyone who's been that journey of trying to look for a system that is perfect for the kind of business that you do, it's not an easy task, it's not an easy journey. So in 2020, we put in a strategy in place. We're still looking for a system. We put in QuickBooks as a placeholder. That did not do much for us. We looked at other options in the country, JStock, Compilinks. There's so many options that I looked at. Where I was working, I know they were using NAV, but the cost and the kind of business that we're doing and the kind of, I already said we're in financial disarray. So I don't know how I can support putting 1 million, 2 million in putting up a system when you don't know if you're making profit or losses. So the good thing in 2020, because I was still working, COVID struck, then we had to work at home. So I used that time now to get myself immersed fully into the business. So in 2021, again, started developing skills for our people, sort of tried to, change our leadership style from how Matriarch was doing it, and we're still looking at the system. So in 2022, after using different systems from 2019, you use one, you see its limitations, you see it's not working for you. We have 4 branches, but all the decisions, all the stock comes through the Nairobi HQ. So some of these things are not helping us. So in 2022, we're in the similar business. They're based, I think, in Meru, Embu. So I asked them, like, what do you guys use? So they suggested ERPNext. I went online, down the rabbit hole. I just looked for what ERPNext is offering. I felt it was the right tool, but unfortunately, the implementation that was done at that point was not as good. So in 2023, no, late 2022, as I was just looking at ERPNext, of course, the implementation wasn't that great. So, but I still feel it's the right tool for us, because you're looking at things like the cloud solutions. Because if we have 4 branches, how do you integrate all and just try to manage all and try to make decisions for all the other branches from a single point? So I met with Moshai together with our sales manager, who doubles up as my wife. And so we told him what our problem was. I think it was sometime in August. And I told him, look, we have this. At least our people have had a look and feel in terms of how ERPNext is. They've used it. I know we had a bit of a mess up in terms of the implementation, but I still feel it's the right tool. And he told me, I'm doing a project right now, but call me in November, then we start planning, which I think was really good, because what that did is we used the entire of November and December, and thanks to Moshai, Brian Koros, and his team, they were very patient with us. And I'll list the reason why their patience is very important to us when you're looking at the challenges. And so we met, they came to our office, they understood all our processes, they sat down with different departments. Yes, we do have departments, even though we are all in this chaos, but we do have departments. So they sat down with all the departments, they went to the different branches to try and understand the framework of the business, how the business works. And then we did our stock take in December, and 2023, we piloted ERPNext now for the second time. So what I can put in as ERPNext, the difference that it's made to our business, first off, it's in terms of streamlined operations. There's a bit of protocol that's being followed. You can track things, you can track who has dropped the ball where. I think the inventory management is robust. From the system side, I still have to knock a few heads from my staff. Centralized view of branch activity is a plus for us. If you look at where these different branches are, they're not 10 minutes drive from Nairobi. So the centralized view of branch activity is really important. Supplier management, we are giving better customer service. I tell Moshai, I want this I've had some people come here and they've had a bit of experience and they have quite a long period of time with different systems, and like I do. And also for us, we're very green in terms of ERPs, in terms of systems. So giving Moshai our problems and him being able to customize workflows to sort of cement the process was very important. And then now we're starting to see we're able to make data-driven decisions, and also the real-time visibility is really working to our advantage. And then, of course, what's very important is in terms of ownership and accountability. So some of the challenges that we had, of course, data migration. So data migration is from the customer books, the customer physical invoices into the system. Of course, your stocks, 9,000 SKUs with different expiry dates. That also was a big challenge. We're still trying to see how we can manage that, and we can see if we can probably get rid of the small suppliers who, just adding to the stockpile, but not really in terms of, not really giving us that big of a profitability margin. Another challenge was user adoption. So the business has been there for 27 years. We have, apart from our mom, we've had some people who've been there for 10 years. So they know this is the way the things work. So user adoption was a real challenge. But I think the first run that we did of ERPNext in 2022 sort of softened the blow, where now we're coming to implement it the second time in 2023. Of course, change management in terms of this process workflows. And, if you're that person who used to take advantage, of now at least the entire flow, like you can't tell me this item there are 20 pieces left when I can be able to track okay, this is the number of things that they came in, this went to this customer, this went to this branch, this went to this branch. So the 20 are here. It's better easy to manage people. And then, of course, skills. You know, I think for some of you, like your companies have grown with systems and structures in place. So for me, I couldn't get rid of my entire team. So, and I think that's why I really appreciate Navare, because they were really patient with our people. Yeah, because I can decide, okay, the system is becoming difficult. Probably you're very basic in terms of computer use. Get out of here, let me get someone else. We didn't do that, yeah? So we just tried to upskill our people. Moshai's team and the likes of Priska and Gadoni, Koros and Brian were really helpful in terms of just being patient with our people, because that was very important. And then, of course, the final challenge, this is very difficult to manage, it's founderitis. And basically, this is how Mom knew the business is supposed to be run, and how now it's supposed to be run, because now we're trying to ensure its future. So it's a challenge for us, but at least day by day, she's trying to comply with them. But yeah, so these are some of the challenges. So end results for us, when we're looking at last year's number, at least over 90% customer retention. Initially, we were not able to, track customers in terms of how they purchase, their purchasing behavior, what moves at what time. From now, I can, because most of our products are seasonal. So there's a time I don't need to stock up on fertilizers. There's a time I don't need to stock up for fungicides, which is supposed to help in terms of during the cold season. So it's through that we've been able to retain customers, because we know what they want at what time, and that's what we stock up. So we no longer have the issues of a customer calls and we say we do not have that in stock. We've been able to score long-term distribution contracts, at least with 4 of our biggest suppliers. There was a gradual and considerable increase in terms of revenue growth. And I put realized profits there, because initially, the profits are not being realized, because nobody was tracking anything. And then, of course, with ERPNext, there's an improved quality of life for Matriarch, who's our mom. Like, she has more free time. She doesn't have to think about how many, which customer has what amount of balance and all that. So as I close, I think parting shot for me is what has really stood out for me is in terms of increased efficiency in how we're running the business, improved visibility, again, in how we're running the business, looking at our profitability month on month, profitability of the branches, profitability all the way down to the different suppliers that we have. These suppliers, when you get into distribution contracts, they give you crazy targets, and we are able to track that very closely, so that we at least trying as much as possible to match with the contract terms. And then we're now able to make empowered decisions based on the data that we get from ERP. Yeah, so I think these are the 3 key things for me. Yeah, so thank you so much for listening to me. Shira, we are positioning ourselves as a partner for growth. Thanks, Moshai, for being our partner. Thanks for the Frappe team for having us here. Yeah, and all the best and good evening, everyone.